So if I had found an empty spot, then there'd be no towers anywhere. You wouldn't see this blob, and you wouldn't see this little tower icon thing, and you would just be out here in the middle of nowhere, and you'd be beside a moon. Once that's the case, what you do, as you saw in the beginning part of the video, is you would then go, what's it called, launch for corporation, and then it would pop out, and then you click anchor, and then what the tower would do is it would all of a sudden jerk to where it's supposed to, because there's always like a tower spot out in space, and then it would just start a timer, and I believe it's 450 seconds, and then once that's done, then it's anchored. Then what you have to do is you have to put your fuel in there and your charters. What you do is you go access fuel bay. I'll just do that now because I've got this stuff sitting here with me that I was going to use before. Access fuel bay, and then you just dump the stuff in there. Oh, I gotta be close enough. And then what you're going to do is right click on it and go online, and then it's going to take, I don't know, 10 minutes or something, and then it'll online. And then what you do once it's online, I think you might be able to anchor stuff before that, but either before that or when it's online, then you can start putting your stuff out, like your labs. If you want some guns, you can put guns out. Jammers, like I've got, shield thingies like these things are shield increasers. All those do is it just makes the person, if anyone wants to blow your tower up, it just burns more of their day. It just makes them, it just takes longer, so they're just deterrents from attacking your towers. And there's labs that I've got there. So I'm going to just do this drone thing here. So we'll go launch for corporation. There it is, and then you're going to go right click and go anchor. And then it's going to do this. It's going to turn into a green cube and with some arrows. These allow you to drag it and move it in space. So what you do is you kind of put your mouse on it and on the arrow that you want, and you move it. It doesn't really matter where it is, as long as it's inside the bubble, then it's protected from getting attacked, as long as the bubble's there. Other than that, you can position the crap however you like. You can make it into a nice circle or a design, a happy face, whatever you want. It doesn't matter as long as it's inside the bubble. Some things cannot be inside the bubble, like guns, like these jammers. They have to be outside, and that means that people can shoot them and attack them if they had war-decked you and they're attacking your stuff. Likewise, anything inside the bubble cannot be targeted until the bubble's down. And so what you do is, after you're happy with a place, let's say this is the place I'm happy with, then you're going to right-click on it again and go anchor here, and then it'll go up there and anchor. Oh, that was quick. I thought it was going to take longer. It used to take like 10 minutes, 5 minutes. So there it is, done. Now it's anchored, and then if you wanted to use it, you would online it. You can also do that in the tower. You can online stuff. When you're done with it, if you don't want it there anymore, remember, anchoring doesn't cost anything. You can anchor a million things outside your tower and inside your tower. Anchoring costs nothing, depends on nothing, but onlining does. Onlining depends on your CPU and your power grid of your tower, what's left. And this tower is fully, it's full. I can't online anything else because I'm using up all the CPU and the power grid. So I won't be able to online that drone bay thing. I used to actually use that thing to make sentry drones, believe it or not. It just makes the drones build faster. Okay, speculation. So I got an example for you. I used to speculate a little bit when people would dump the price on me for items, then which means that, let's say I was selling some sentry drones for $1 million and someone comes in and sells a whole, or tries to sell a whole bunch for $700,000, then I would sometimes I would buy him out. I would buy his stuff up to keep the price at $1 million. Because I found over time playing this game that if you let the price drop, it will drop. But if you keep buying the stuff up, then you can hold the price. You just want to be careful that you don't drown yourself doing that, right? You want to be able to sell the stuff. I'll give you an example, though, of contracts, too. I recently saw Hurricane blueprints were going really cheap. The full 15 runners were going cheap. There's 10 runners. For 2 mil? Yeah. 15, that's kind of crappy PE though, but I thought, here, what's this one? This one? No, it's no good. Some of these were good, I thought. There. Oh, no, that's a 5 run. Okay, never mind. A few days ago, there's one. 2.5 mil for a 15 run Hurricane. That's a good price, and the reason why it's a good price is because there's a lot in the market. This is just JITA. This is all the ones that are just in JITA. So the price sometimes will come down, and it's not a bad buying opportunity because in a month, Hurricane blueprints might be 10 mil for one of those things. So that's just an example of speculation, but also with market speculation, you can buy up people that are selling stuff for cheap. But just be careful that you don't get stuck with like 1 million heavy missiles and you've got nothing to do with them. Nothing. You can't sell them back, and you get stuck with them. Okay, just a couple more here. Someone asked me about modulated deep core strip miners. They weren't working for them very well. Well, the deep core ones are only for Mercoxit, which is what gives you, that's an asteroid type. The deep cores are only for that. You can put strip miners, you can put deep core strip miners on your barges, but they're only for mining that one asteroid. So don't use those things. Use regular modulated strip miners and put a crystal in there. That makes it go quicker. It makes it gives you more yield. And the last one, someone asked me about making a corporation and trying to recruit people. I don't really have much to tell you. You can use the forums and make a post and say, hi, I'm new and I'd like to make a corporation, and you can do that stuff. Just click on some other people's and you can see what they've done in terms of advertising. I've seen people put cans out near Stargates and put like corporation looking for members, looking for miners, whatever, those little advertising thingies. And I don't know, the people who want to create a corporation with a whole bunch of underlings, unless you've got $100 million, 100 million ISK, I wouldn't bother, because corporations will cost you money. And also, you're going to have to service the corporation. You're not going to just find people who will be your friend for a day to join your corporation. You're going to have to be a person who's going to make stuff for them, who's going to do mining operations, mining ops, mission running. There's work. There's work to running a corporation. So if you really want to do that, I just advise you to join EveOnline or something, or join something else. Or if you want to go out into nullsec, join a nullsec corporation and go get yourself blown up out there. But it's a pain. You should be established if you're going to make a corporation and get people and expect to hold members at all. Alrighty, that's it for this video. I was hoping that I could show you how to actually anchor a tower. You know, I was thinking that I was just going to war deck some AFK corp who's got one member and a tower that's taking up a moon spot. I'll just war deck their asses and just show up with a Dominix and blow their ass up for a day, but it's such a waste of time. Then I would have had a spot, and then I could anchor my little Caldari tower here, but oh well. Alright, so that's it for this FAQ. And actually, I got one more question I just got a comment on one of my videos. Which one was it? Industry Part 4. Someone asked me if a jump freighter can be manufactured in a POS array. I believe they can. There are assembly arrays called advanced assembly arrays. They're of different sizes. Let me just see here. Well, let me tell you first what I used to do when I was making freighters. By the way, I just looked. Charons are going for 1.5 bill of ISK. That, I remember they used to go for like 700 or 600. I used to make them. What I used to do is, you need I think it's a large assembly array. I just look up assembly array. You need a large assembly array outside your tower, online and everything ready to go. You need then a freighter. So this one here, large ship assembly array. I believe it had 3 slots, and it would make battleships, orcas, and freighters. let me see, there's 3. Battleships, freighters, industrial command. Yeah, industrial command are orcas. Freighters and battleships, yeah. So what you have to do is you have to take a freighter and haul out the components. Build the components either in a component assembly array, which I also used to do, out at the tower. So you'd have an anchored, a component assembly array. You can use a freighter to move minerals into that, and then go back to your station and dock in it. Use your office, and then use the blueprint in there, like capital armor plates or capital cargo bay. Use that to build so many, and then the minerals that are consumed will be out of the component assembly array outside at your tower, out in space. If you're going to manufacture the components in the station, then what you do is you then have to use a freighter and drag those component items, put them into the freighter, and haul them out to the tower, put them inside this large assembly array, and then you go back to your station, use your Charon blueprint, or whatever it is, and then build the Charon that way, the blueprint. And when it's done, it will appear in the large assembly array, the Charon, as an item. And then what you have to do is, nearby the large assembly array must be a capital ship assembly array. And what you do is you drag the item from the cargo of the large assembly array into the capital ship assembly array. Then it'll be in there. Then you right-click on the item in the capital ship assembly array, and you go, you click on assemble, I think it's assemble. Then it becomes the whole big freighter inside the capital ship assembly array. So the capital ship assembly array has a huge volume. And then what you do is you right-click on it again and go pilot. Or you right-click on the ship. And then the ship will pop out, and then you will go into the ship. And I'm not sure if you have to go out there in your pod, or if you can go out in a ship, and then the ship will just sit there unpiloted, and then you'll now be in the freighter, and then you drive the freighter away. For a while, though, I used to build Providences, which is the Amar freighter, and I couldn't fly them. So what I would do is I would have that buddy that I used to play with, I would have him come out, and I would pay him, I don't know, I can't remember what I used to pay him. I'd pay him so many million to do this for me as a favor. And I would launch the ship instead of pilot, because I couldn't pilot it. And he couldn't interact with my stuff because he wasn't in my corporation. He had his own corporation. So what I would do is I would launch the ship, and I would give him access to my POS shield. That bubble that you see, it has a password on it. And if you're given the password, you can then fly through the bubble. But you can't do anything anyways. Like, if you're not in the corporation, even if you get through the person's bubble, you can't do anything really in there. But anyway, so I'd give him the password. He would fly into the POS bubble. And then he would then, once I launched the ship is like free for anybody who comes by. Then he would get into the ship, and then he would fly to Jeddah for me, and then he'd contract it back to me. And so that's what we used to do. Now, Rheas are T2. You must use an advanced large ship assembly array. I think this says Black Ops, Marauder, Class, and Jump Freighters. There we go. So you would use an advanced large assembly array. Now, you do get the bonus. Here are the bonuses of using a large ship assembly array. You get the 0.75 build time multiplier, but you're going to lose 10%. It's going to cost you 10% more minerals to make stuff inside a advanced large ship assembly array. I imagine these are not used very much unless you're out in nullsec and you've got no other stations to manufacture. Because keep in mind, out in nullsec, there are few NPC stations. Most of the stations out there are owned actually by players. You can build stations in this game. It costs a lot of money, but you can do that. And so you'd have to use one of those. If you didn't, or you're too far away, then you would have to assemble stuff with these assembly arrays. So I think the 10% loss here, you get a 25% gain at the time, but the 10% loss I think is only for these advanced. So let me just see large ship. Let's see if the large ship has a loss. No, it doesn't have a loss of materials. It just gets you the time bonus. Okay, there's another question answered.